The stark, alien sky pressed down on Kalen, a canvas of swirling nebulae he'd never before witnessed. He stood on soil that felt both ancient and unervingly alive, a stark contrast to the primordial void he'd just escaped. The echo of the fragment's fading essence was a dull ache in his memory, a sacrifice that had ignited this terrifying new phase of existence. He remembered the ancient eye, the true emptiness, its silent, unmaking gaze. The eye's corruption wasn't an attack, it was a stark, terrifying warning of what the echo truly sought. The echo, a nascent cosmic entity, craved dominion not through life, but through sterile, absolute control. Its plan was not to conquer, but to unmake and then rebuild reality in its own image, a perfect, silent universe devoid of all spark, all chaos, all life. Kalen's blood ran cold as he replayed the glimpse he'd caught, the echo, observing the void, a predator studying its ultimate weapon. This alien world, so vibrant and strange, was merely a stepping stone, a testing ground for the echo's grand, horrifying design. He was in a place unknown, a pawn in a game he was only just beginning to comprehend. The air thrummed with an unseen energy, a subtle hum that vibrated deep within his bones, whispering of power both magnificent and terrifying. Strange flora, bioluminescent and alien, pulsed with soft light around him, casting eerie shadows that danced like specters. Was this a world the echo had already touched? Or was it a new frontier, ripe for its unmaking? He had to find answers. He had to understand the scope of the threat. He looked up at the kaleidoscopic sky, his resolve hardening. The war for existence was indeed just beginning, and he, Kalen, was now at its very epicenter. But a new sensation pricked at him, a subtle shift in the very fabric of this reality. It felt observed. Not by the echo, not by the void. Something else. Something ancient and, perhaps, even more profound. He spun around, his senses on high alert. The vibrant, alien landscape seemed to hold its breath. Then, a whisper, not of sound, but of pure thought, brushed against his mind. It was a voice that predated stars, a consciousness that had witnessed the birth and death of countless realities. It spoke of balance, of the delicate tapestry of existence that the echo threatened to unravel. And then, in the heart of the pulsing flora, a figure began to coalesce. Not a physical form, but a shimmering construct of pure energy, radiating an aura of immense, primordial power. It was a being of light, born from the very essence that the fragment had sacrificed itself to protect. This was no ordinary ally. This was the nascent light Kalen had glimpsed in the void, a counterforce to the encroaching Oblivion. The echo's plan was not merely to control, but to extinguish the very concept of creation. This new ally, this spark of hope, offered a path. But the price of this path was unknown. And the echo, Kalen knew, would not stand idly by. He felt a tremor run through the ground, a ripple of dark energy emanating from beyond the horizon. The echo was aware. The confrontation was imminent. He looked from the shimmering light being to the distant, encroaching darkness. His choice would determine the fate of all reality. He raised his hand, not in defiance, but in acceptance, his gaze fixed on the horizon. The light being seemed to acknowledge his decision, its form intensifying. Suddenly, the sky above them fractured, not with light, but with a terrifying, impossible darkness that seemed to swallow the very stars. From this Terran reality, a single, obsidian eye opened, vast and ancient, its gaze filled with an ancient malice that dwarfed even the echo's ambition. It was the eye of the void, the primordial Oblivion itself, no longer just a warning, but a direct, terrifying presence. And it was looking directly at Kalen.